The whole situation has shifted, and the timing could not be any more suspicious. Kody Brown has just stepped forward with what he is trying to frame as a generous, reasonable, family-first move, but honestly, smells like strategy and last-minute reputation rescue. He gathers his ex-wives on a video call, smiling like a businessman closing a positive deal, and announces that a buyer is offering full price for all 4 Coyote Pass lots. He delivers the news as though he is doing everyone a favor, nodding and speaking slowly, saying things like, "Do the maths," as if he is some kind of property genius. Yet anyone who has followed this journey for years knows that nothing about Kody and Coyote Pass has ever been fair, transparent, or cooperative. Christine and Janelle spent years asking for clarity, for progress, for their share of the land that was originally sold to them as a shared family dream. Instead, they were stonewalled, ignored, or redirected every single time. While they were working, sacrificing, renting, moving, and making things work for their children, Kody and Robyn settled themselves into the comfortable, expensive mansion with financial stability that Christine and Janelle never received a fair chance at. The truth that insiders speak about is uncomfortable, but it explains everything. Kody has been delaying the legal division of Coyote Pass for years. By keeping ownership vague and incomplete, he kept power. Christine and Janelle are not listed on any deed. They have no legally assigned plots. Meanwhile, Kody and Robyn hold the 2 prime parcels, the ones with the best access and potential. If Kody ever wanted to leave Christine and Janelle with the worst sections of land, he was perfectly positioned to do so. Now suddenly, when Christine is happy and thriving, and when Janelle is standing on her own with a level of calm strength, Kody cannot sway. He appears with a buyer and a plan that makes him look cooperative. Industry whispers suggest he is trying to close this sale before lawyers enter the picture, before paperwork is scrutinized, and before anyone pushes for a full legal reassessment of the land's division. Appearing kind costs him nothing, and it protects his image. Then there is the financial betrayal that still stings. Janelle invested heavily into the family when she helped fund Robyn's mansion. She believed it was a temporary support between wives, only to realize later that the money was never coming back. She calls it a gift now, but the cold tone tells another story. Her daughter Maddie sees it clearly and says the quiet part aloud. Then he wins. Janelle has held her dignity for years, but she knows exactly what was taken from her, and she is no longer pretending it does not matter. Christine has reached a different form of peace. She walked away, rebuilt herself, and found a love that respects her. She is finally living a life that lifts her rather than drains her. And that freedom is something Kody can neither control nor diminish. This is not just property paperwork or financial disagreements. This is the collapse of a system built on control, silence, and imbalance. Christine and Janelle have stepped out of that system. Kody is only now realizing that when the women stop playing along, he has nothing left to leverage. And that is exactly what is fueling Kody's sudden rush to appear cooperative. He has lost the emotional influence he relied on for decades. Christine no longer flinches when he speaks. Janelle no longer bends to keep the peace. Even Mary, after years of clinging to the hope of belonging, has stepped back and recognized how deeply she was overlooked. Kody is standing in the middle of what once was his family and realizing that the power he believed he commanded was never love, only compliance. Christine's transformation is a direct reflection of what real emotional safety looks like. Her happiness with David Woolley has hit Kody harder than any words ever could. She smiles without hesitation now. She laughs freely. She is not explaining herself, not negotiating her needs, not shrinking to fit someone else's comfort. For years, she was the one doing the emotional labor, holding the family together, swallowing her loneliness because she believed the family meant something greater than her own pain. Leaving did not break her. It rebuilt her. And Kody cannot stand that he has no part in that rebuilding. Janelle's shift is quieter, but in many ways, far more dangerous to Kody's narrative. She is not emotional or dramatic. She is measured. She knows exactly what has been taken from her. When she speaks about the money she will never recover, Her voice is calm, steady, almost detached. That type of clarity is something Kody has never been able to negotiate with. He cannot guilt her. He cannot charm her. He cannot sway her with long speeches about family unity. Janelle has moved past the stage where she tries to make him understand. Now she simply sees him for who he is. And then there is Robin, the wife Kody centered everything around. The one he defended, protected, prioritized, elevated. The one whose tears dictated the direction of entire family decisions. She now sits in a mansion built on years of sacrifices made by wives who were told to be patient, to trust the process, to be grateful. That house is no longer a symbol of family unity. It is a physical reminder of every imbalance, every broken promise, every moment where one wife's comfort was placed above all others. That is why the Coyote Pass deal matters. It is not just property. It is the last piece of a story Kody tried to control. If that land sells without proper division, without fairness, without accountability, then Kody walks away able to say he tried, that he did right by everyone, that the family simply fell apart because others changed, not because he failed them. Christine and Janelle know exactly what is at stake. They are not rushing. They are not emotional. They are watching every word, every document, every step. They refuse to let history rewrite itself. Because this is not just the end of a marriage. It is the end of a system. The end of Kody's authority. The end of women sacrificing themselves so a man can feel powerful. Christine has love now. Janelle has clarity. Mary has distance. Kody has excuses. And excuses cannot build a future. Not even on Coyote Pass. The more you look at the situation, the clearer it becomes that Kody is grasping for something that is already gone. The version of the family he once controlled existed because the women believed in the dream more than he did. They worked, they raised children, they sacrificed, and they waited for a future he never actually planned to deliver. Now those same women are living lives that prove they never needed his leadership in the first place. Christine's world looks entirely different now. She wakes up beside a man who shows up for her. Not just in words, but with consistency and affection. There is no competition for his attention, no emotional scarcity, no fear of being replaced or overlooked. People close to her say she radiates ease, the kind that comes from finally being valued. Her joy is not performative. It is earned. Janelle's strength is steadier, like a foundation that finally set after years of constant shifting ground. She no longer defends Kody, no longer explains his perspective to others, no longer cushions his shortcomings. She has reached a point where peace matters more than being understood. Her life is simpler, quieter, grounded in independence and self-respect. That frightens Kody more than any argument ever could. He has always known how to fight. He has never known how to handle being irrelevant. Mary, often overlooked in these discussions, has undergone her own transformation. For years she waited for acknowledgement, for inclusion, for a place within a system that continued to push her out. Once she stopped waiting, everything shifted. She reclaimed her identity, her voice, her autonomy. There is a steadiness in her now, one that does not rely on Kody's emotional temperature. That change is permanent. Meanwhile, Kody keeps trying to frame himself as the misunderstood leader of a family that simply drifted apart. He talks about heartbreak, loyalty, effort, unity. He paints himself as someone who tried his best. Yet every move he makes is calculated to protect his image rather than repair his relationships. The Coyote Pass sale is one more attempt to control the narrative, to emerge looking reasonable, thoughtful, noble. People close to the family say the women are done letting him script the story. Kody is realizing something painful. A man can only rewrite the past when the women who lived it stays silent. Christine is speaking now. Janelle is speaking. Mary is speaking. Their clarity is louder than anything Kody could claim. The land sale will go through eventually, but not on the terms Kody imagined. The paperwork will be read line by line. Fairness will be demanded, not requested. The truth will not be softened. The emotional balance has shifted permanently. Christine has freedom. Janelle has wisdom. Mary has closure. Kody has consequences. The era of the quiet, compliant sister wife is over. Compliant sister wife is over. And Kody is still hung up on one thing he simply cannot swallow. He didn't get to approve Christine's new husband. He didn't get to stand in the doorway and decide whether David Woolley was worthy. He didn't get to control Christine's future, not even after she left him. People close to the situation say Kody's ego cannot cope with the reality that Christine truly escaped. She didn't just leave the marriage. She left the entire orbit he had built. She left the emotional grip he assumed he would always have. She found happiness without him quickly and openly and joyfully. That is a wound Kody cannot hide, no matter how he phrases it for the cameras. Think back to that video call where Kody and David meet for the first time. Everyone could feel the awkward tension. It was stiff, forced, staged for the show. But the real story is in Kody's language. He talked about his right to vet David, as though Christine still answers to him. He talked like her love life still required his clearance, as though her independence is something he can approve or deny. Insiders say this wasn't about concern for Truly's well-being. This was about Kody trying to insert himself back into Christine's emotional world where he no longer belongs. There are reports that Kody genuinely believed Christine would struggle after leaving him. Word among those close is that he thought she would eventually realize life outside the family was too hard, that she would reconsider, that she might even try to return. Instead, she found David almost immediately, fell deeply in love, became engaged, built a new home, and is thriving in a way that makes it impossible to pretend her old life was enough. And Kody has to watch it happen. He has to watch Christine be cherished in ways he never gave her. He has to watch the kind of love she used to beg for, happening effortlessly with another man. Sources say this property issue has become his last remaining tether. If the Coyote Pass situation stays unsettled, Christine and Janelle still have to deal with him. They still have to speak to him. They still have to acknowledge him. If the land gets divided, if the money is paid out, if the paperwork is completed, Kody becomes irrelevant in their lives. So he drags it. He delays. He complicates. Not for fairness, for proximity, but insiders say Christine sees the game clearly. She is civil on camera, respectful for the sake of the show, but emotionally she is checked out entirely. She wants the land situation finalized, she wants her share, and then she wants nothing further to do with him. Rumors circulating suggest she has told producers that once the Coyote Pass storyline is completed, she is done filming scenes with Kody altogether. She's ready to move forward with her own content, focused on her happiness, not her past. Meanwhile, Kody's own marriage is developing cracks he did not anticipate. Because there was the situation with the mystery woman, a woman who reached out to Kody directly, expressing interest in joining the family. And instead of shutting it down immediately, instead of protecting his marriage with Robin, he engaged with it. He thought about it. And then he brought it up to Robin. Twice. The way he spoke about it wasn't dismissive. It was curious, almost hopeful. He even commented that the woman was cute. And for someone who claims he is happily monogamous now, that is extremely telling. Insiders say this is classic Kody behavior. He wants to feel wanted. He wants options. He wants the dynamic where women compete for him. He misses the power that came with being the center of multiple women's emotional worlds. Here is where things get even more chaotic. There are strong signs this mystery woman isn't even real. People in polygamy communities are saying the approach, the timing, the tone, all of it looks like a potential catfish or someone playing games. Legitimate plural marriage introductions follow protocols, respect, contact through proper channels. None of those steps happened here. And yet Kody appears eager to believe it. Why? Because the alternative is unbearable to him. That no real woman wants to join his family now. That his status is gone. That the image he built is crumbling. Sources say Robin can see exactly what is happening. The panic in her expression said everything. She didn't want to hear about the letter. She wanted it shut down, buried, erased. She wanted Kody to reassure her that their marriage is secure, exclusive, protected. Instead, he kept bringing it up almost proudly. Because if Kody is desired by another woman, it reinforces the narrative he prefers. Kody didn't lose 3 wives. They lost him. And Robin, after years of believing she won, is now confronted with a truth she never expected. She was never the exception. She was simply the favorite for a time. Now, even she isn't enough to fill the void Kody is scrambling to fill. And this is where everything begins to shift. Because once Robin realizes she is not the exception, something changes in her eyes. For years, she held herself above the others. She believed she was the chosen one, the one Kody loved most, the one who got him, who tried, who kept the family together. That was the narrative. That was her role. That was her identity. But when Kody entertained the idea of another wife, even for a moment, even hypothetically, Robin's entire worldview cracked. All those years of defending him, all those tears, all those public explanations, all that loyalty, and Kody still wanted more. Because for him, loyalty is expected, but appreciation is optional. Insiders say Robin's reaction behind the scenes was not dramatic in the way viewers might imagine. It wasn't screaming. It wasn't anger. It was grief. A quiet, shaking realization that everything she sacrificed, her image, her relationships, her reputation, was for a man who cannot be emotionally satisfied by any one person. And Christine sees this. Janelle sees this. Even Mary, after all this time, sees this. The difference is simple. They left. Robin stayed. So now, as Christine thrives and Janelle rebuilds her independence, Robin is the one sitting in the very position she once criticized the others for, waiting for Kody to choose her, waiting for Kody to prioritize her, waiting for Kody to show up emotionally, consistently, fully. And he doesn't, because Kody is obsessed with a fantasy version of himself, the charismatic leader, the desired husband, the center of a plural marriage full of admiration. That version does not exist anymore. It probably never did. He is a man standing in the ruins of a family he thought he controlled, unable to understand that control is exactly what destroyed it. Meanwhile, Christine is soft, glowing, steady, loved. She is living the life she begged Kody to build with her. A man who listens. A man who shows up. A man who chooses her easily every day. And Kody is forced to watch all of this happen from the outside. No access, no influence, no power. Just a man realizing too late that the woman he underestimated the most was the one who knew herself best. Christine didn't just move on. She moved forward. And Kody, he is still standing exactly where she left him. And while Kody is replaying old power dynamics, trying to resurrect the identity he once had, the rest of the family has already stepped into a new chapter. One he can't follow them into. Because what does Kody Brown have now, really? A reputation in pieces. A family splintered. A marriage that is starting to feel less like a victory and more like a slow unraveling. And a public narrative he cannot control anymore. For years, Kody believed that being the patriarch meant he was the storyteller. He thought he got to define everyone's role. The dutiful wife, the rebellious wife, the favorite wife, the problem wife. But they've all walked out of their roles now. Christine is no longer the ungrateful wife. She is the woman who rebuilt her joy. Janelle is no longer the passive wife. She is the woman who chose peace over chaos. Mary is no longer the clinging wife. She is the woman who finally closed the door he left half open for decades. And Robin is no longer the beloved wife. She is the woman realizing the pedestal she stood on was never stable to begin with. Kody is the only one still performing the old script. The family is not orbiting him anymore. There is no audience for his authority now. There is no one left who needs his approval. That is why the Coyote Pass issue matters so much to him. It is not land. It is leverage. It is the last thread tying these women to his story. If that land is divided, sold, paid out, then Kody becomes a chapter they have already finished reading. Nothing more. And that is Kody's greatest fear. Not being hated. Not being argued with. not being challenged. His greatest fear is being irrelevant, a background character in the lives of women who once revolved around him. Meanwhile, Christine is living in something Kody thought she could never have without him. Softness, stability, joy, safety, reciprocity. She is not surviving. She is thriving. And the world can see it. This is why public sympathy has shifted so dramatically. People aren't just rooting for Christine. They are witnessing her transformation. The glow, the ease, the peace in her voice. You cannot fake that. And Kody knows it, which is why the resentment lingers, why the comments slip out, why the bitterness is sharp and obvious now. Because deep down, Kody is facing a truth that may be the most painful of all. Christine didn't just leave him. Christine healed without him. Christine didn't just leave him. Christine healed without him. Now that the other wives are gone, now that it's just Robyn and Kody sitting together in their so-called monogamous dream life, something has shifted. Robyn is beginning to feel the very same emptiness that Christine, Janelle, and Meri lived with for decades. That constant insecurity. That endless emotional chasing. That exhausting feeling of trying to hold the attention of a man who is never satisfied, no matter how much love you give him. People close to the family say Robyn is starting to understand a truth she once refused to believe. Kody was never devoted to her because she was special. He was devoted to the feeling of being desired. He loved being the center of multiple women's lives. He loved being chosen, chased, admired. Now, with no competition, with no wives fighting for his time, with no rotating emotional orbit, that illusion has collapsed. And the buzz behind the scenes is that their relationship is crumbling faster than the cameras can keep up with. Kody insists they are stronger than ever, but everyone knows one simple rule. When someone has to keep announcing how good their relationship is, it usually isn't good at all. But Robyn isn't the only one calling out the lies anymore. Because Kody is now being confronted by someone he never expected. His own daughter. Maddie Brown has become the truth teller of the family. And she does it without shouting, without theatrics, without chaos. She simply sees him. She asks direct questions he cannot answer. She cuts through his performance like glass slicing silk. Remember that family video call? Kody trying to sell his heroic narrative, talking about fair splits and generosity, playing the noble peacemaker. And Maddie just interrupts with one quiet, devastating question. Is this real? Those three words crack the entire illusion wide open. Sources say Maddie has watched her mother, Janelle, bend herself into exhaustion her entire life, trying to make peace, trying to hold the family together, always being reasonable, while Kody was anything but. Maddie has spent years encouraging her mother privately to stand up, to stop letting Kody walk all over her, to stop giving and giving when she received nothing in return. And it worked. Maddie's influence is one of the biggest reasons Janelle finally detached emotionally. She stopped hoping Kody would change. She stopped shrinking herself to make him comfortable. She finally chose herself. And Maddie. She is done pretending Kody was ever the father he claims to be. Insiders say she keeps the bare minimum contact and nothing more. No affection, no admiration, no emotional access. She sees him clearly now. Now, let's talk about that video call with Meri and Janelle. It may be one of the coldest, most beautifully uncomfortable scenes ever filmed. Kody tries to charm. He tries jokes. He tries small talk. He tries soft tone. Nothing works. Because both women are done performing for him. Meri's silence is the loudest of all. She spent decades begging for scraps of affection from a man who proudly announced he no longer loved her. And now she doesn't care what he thinks. Not even a little. Her indifference is her freedom. Rumors say the deepest betrayal Meri carries is not from Kody, but from Robyn. Meri trusted her, confided in her, believed she finally had a true friend in the sister-wife dynamic. But everything Meri shared in confidence was taken straight back to Kody, used against her, discussed behind her back, weaponized. This wasn't just betrayal. It was humiliation. And now we arrive at the real reason Kody is suddenly desperate to sell Coyote Pass. Not fairness, not closure, money. 3 wives gone means 3 incomes gone. The show's popularity now depends on the very women who left him. And Kody knows that without Christine, without Janelle, without Mary, his storyline collapses. His mansion is expensive. His lifestyle is expensive. Robin's expectations are expensive. And the land. It is his last financial lifeline. That is why Kody suddenly wants to work together. That is why he suddenly speaks of fairness. Not because he changed, but because he's running out of places to hide. Christine and Janelle are not naive anymore. They are consulting lawyers. They are keeping receipts. They are not signing anything until every number is verified in writing. They know Kody's pattern. Promise big, deliver nothing. So now the question becomes, will Kody finally be forced to face a life where no one is left to control, manipulate, or blame? Because for the first time in his life, every woman who once built her world around him has learned she can live better without him. Friends, the most striking part of all of this is how calm Christine, Janelle, and Mary have become. Not bitter, not angry, just done. There is a certain peace that appears when someone finally stops trying to be understood by a person who never listened in the first place. Christine glows now. That glow is not just love for David, though that is certainly real. It is the glow of a woman who no longer asks permission to be happy. She laughs more openly. Her shoulders sit differently. Even her voice has changed. There is no tremor in it now. No need to defend herself. No need to anticipate backlash. She is no longer managing Kody's moods. Janelle is quieter in her transformation. Her strength is steady, internal, rooted. She has learned to choose herself in small ways every single day. She has her own home, her own routines, her own peace. She no longer waits for anyone to validate her choices. She does not chase arguments. She does not chase explanation. She speaks plainly, stands firmly, and walks away when it is no longer worth her energy. Mary's transformation is perhaps the most unexpected. People spent years underestimating her resilience. They assumed she would cling forever, waiting for crumbs of affection. Yet what we are seeing now is a woman who has reclaimed the narrative of her life. She travels. She makes business decisions. She builds friendships outside of the brown orbit. Her emotional independence arrived late, yes, but it arrived with depth. Meanwhile, Kody looks smaller. Not physically, emotionally. The world he built relied on women orbiting him. When those women stepped out of his gravitational pull, his identity began collapsing in on itself. This is what we are watching now. Not just a marriage falling apart. Not just a family fracturing. We are watching a man face the consequences of decisions he thought he would never have to answer for. People close to the situation say Kody has moments where he tries to rewrite the past out loud. Almost as if saying it differently might make it true. He says he was always fair. He says he did his best. He says the wives were ungrateful. But there is something about truth. Once spoken, it cannot be buried again. His children are speaking. The wives are speaking. The audience is no longer fooled. Even Robin, who once defended him fiercely, looks exhausted by the emotional labor of holding up that narrative alone. Her face tells the story before her words ever do. The tears are not only sadness, they are fear. Fear of finally seeing herself in the same role the other wives once played. No one wants to admit they became the very thing they once judged. And right now, Robin is realizing she did not escape the dysfunction. She inherited it. Meanwhile, the mystery woman situation remains a shadow hovering behind all of this. Because whether she was real or not is no longer the point. The point is that Kody entertained it. He kept it alive. He allowed it to spark. He nurtured the idea of being desired by someone new. This is the moment everything shifts. Because now Robin must face a reality she never prepared for. She was not chosen because she was special. She was chosen because she played the role he needed at the time. The wives who left have found themselves. Robin is only now beginning that journey. And Kody is standing in a burning house he insists is warm and cozy. The story is not ending. It is transforming. The question now is not whether Christine, Janelle, and Mary will be okay. They already are. The question is whether Kody will ever be forced to see himself clearly. Because healing only begins when a person stops blaming everyone around them and finally admits, I did this. This was me. And Kody is still worlds away from that truth. And now, as the dust settles on decades of manipulation, favoritism, and broken promises, the Brown family saga enters its most critical chapter yet. Kody's grand facade of cooperation may be nothing more than a calculated play to protect his image and cash out before his empire crumbles completely. But Christine, Janelle, and Mary are no longer pawns in his game. They've grown wise to his tactics. They've learned that words mean nothing without action. And they've finally discovered the power of standing their ground. Christine is thriving, independent, and completely disengaged from Kody's control. Janelle is strategic, prepared, and documenting every move, refusing to let her hard-earned money slip away again. Mary has reached emotional detachment so complete that Kody's attention no longer matters. Her indifference is the ultimate punishment for a man who once thrived on control and drama. Even Maddie, once a silent observer, has stepped up as the voice of truth, ensuring that Kody's manipulations no longer go unchecked. As for Kody, insiders say he's cornered. The power he once wielded is slipping through his fingers. The Coyote Pass sale may give him a temporary cash boost, but it cannot restore what he's already lost: respect, credibility, and genuine love from his ex-wives and children. The cameras may still roll, but behind the scenes, the Brown patriarch is facing the consequences of decades of selfishness, deception, and unchecked ego. Industry insiders predict that this may be Kody's final act of control in the sister wives saga.